Here are 12 online reviews of the audiobook titled, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Written and narrated by Stephen R. Covey. 1. Psychobabble. This reads as a scam to sell more copies. In the intro, Covey even presses how important it is to keep this book with you and teach family members about it. Right? It's full of psychobabble like, what's the difference between leadership and management? Here, he creates a false dichotomy between the two. You'll find senseless phrases like this when you talk to senseless people. I genuinely believe that Covey's market is the dumb, the secret type people. Very disappointed. If you want a book that teaches real personal growth and effectiveness, try Atomic Habits by James Clear. 2. The content is excellent but the delivery needs some work. I feel like this may be a book that's better left off my audiobook list. This title is extremely difficult to get through with the author narrating the book. I typically read one traditional book every other week, and it may be better in print. I also go through 2 or more audiobooks a week, and this one took me over 2 weeks to get through due to the fact that it's not well read or done. The content is excellent but the delivery needs some work. 3. The essence could have been 7 tweets. I've been listening for an hour waiting for the book to start. The author just can't get to the point. Keeps teasing how great and transformative what you are about to learn is going to be, and pages go by and he keeps selling you goods that never seem to materialize. I wish Twitter had been invented when he wrote the book, because each one of the 7 habits, whatever they are, because they seem to be buried in endless fluff, could have been a tweet. Now, that would have been highly effective. Spend your money or credits somewhere else. 4. Couldn't listen to this without falling asleep. There are very few books that I have been unable to finish. This highly acclaimed book, with all these high reviews, was dangerous for me to listen to while driving. Stephen Covey's voice was not engaging and it was dulling me to sleep. I have seriously thought about making this one of those books I return. If not for all the positive reviews, I would. Waiting for a time when I'm on vacation or something where I can try to listen to this again or take this book out from the library and try to read it. One of the few Audible books that I could not listen to. 5. Beware, this is a religious-based book. Covey admits that he did not come up with these principles, he just organized them. His advice is then based on religious opinions, not shared by many. It's unfortunate that he decided to communicate valuable lessons with underlying religious tones. If he really wanted to be selfless and help everyone, he should first respect the differences in us all and not interject his personal opinions as a base for his insight. Keep religion and politics away from your selfless attempt to help us. A typical deluded, self-righteous writing disguised as a self-help book. Thanks, but I'll stick to Carnegie and others who don't assume that we all believe that faith in one singular God is the answer to becoming a better person and living a more fulfilled life. 6. High on fluff, low on content. I stumbled across this book after doing an unrelated internet search. While I wasn't specifically shopping around for a self-help book, I had recently listened to an interesting series of lectures on meditation that I also hadn't been shopping around for. The reviews for 7 habits ranged from good to excellent, and people seemed to think very highly about it, so I thought it might be worth checking out. I'm not sure why my experience is so different from everyone else's. Maybe I've already learned the lessons. Maybe the message isn't for me. After waiting through an hour of listening to Covey detail every human fear I might possibly be experiencing, I finally threw in the towel. As one last act of desperation, I jumped through the chapters, hoping that somewhere, this mess would congeal into something digestible. Each chapter began with the same rambling, incoherent pointlessness. I couldn't find a foundation to build knowledge from. 7. Leadership gurus and terrible leaders. It is astounding that a topic like this has been so extensively written about, but still, every year brings a new crop of typically self-proclaimed leadership gurus and coaches along with a fresh new set of books and programs. We are awash in people who seem to sincerely believe they have this figured out. Covey will flat out tell you that humility is at the root of the habits. Perhaps, what the next generation needs has more to do with the hard part of self-introspection, rather than fixing everyone else. Crazy talk. 8. Powerful and influential. I was first introduced to Stephen R. Covey decades ago by my lifelong best friend. Dr. Covey may not have invented all of these habits or principles, but has provided a simple yet powerful way to easily understand and apply them. Example, after life-changing example, of practically workable ways to vastly improve your everyday human experience. Genuine substance without a speck of hype. Fully applicable to business and family as well as every facet of life. Usually I prefer a professional narrator, but here's a man who is an accomplished public speaker who brings it all home to the listener. So down to earth and ultimately real and palpable. 9. Foundational principles to transform your life. Covey is an extremely talented teacher, making the concepts covered in this book universally applicable, and potent with their saliency. He does not have an agenda separate from empowering the listener to own his or her own life and operate at the most fulfilling level individually and in our multitude of interpersonal interactions. I particularly appreciate the internal character focus, integrity internally and externally, rather than external techniques or appearances. 10. A timeless classic. I received a copy of this some 20 years ago from my father, and in reading again recently reminded me of some of the principles I subconsciously have used since, as well as others that have slipped from more active thought and behavior, but would serve me well in employing. I thoroughly appreciate and recommend this book to anyone that looks to improve themselves, their relationships, and the life they choose to lead. This book offers you insight into not only achieving better results for yourself, but as well passively helping others to achieve more success too. 11. Wish I had listened or read this sooner in life. This book is a classic and the principles are still as applicable today. I took so much away and intend to listen to it again to go even deeper. Quick example, I had meditated on the word seek to understand before being understood, but had not fully comprehended the principle. The author breaks it down in a way that is easy to really understand but more importantly apply. Highly recommend to anyone looking to become a better version of themselves. 12. The best personal development book I've ever read. Honestly, I've read tens and tens of books of personal development. But nothing comes close to this. It's the foundation that you need. All the other ones usually talk about techniques, but this one really shows you how to change from within. That said, for me it's been the most difficult to read of them all. Simply because it's so packed with real, challenging infos, that you just can't read it while you're working out or doing something else. It needs to be digested. It needs full attention. But it's worth it, if you apply it. Thank you for watching. Please, do not forget to subscribe, like and share this video. Tune in for more online audiobooks reviews.